Hello, all of you professional gamers out there in the world. I am Mega Amster, and I have another video for all of you today. I've been thinking about making this one for a couple weeks now. That's just something that came to mind, kind of like my video that I did on comparing Majora's Mask 3D to Ocarina of Time 3D. That was that was at least a month ago. So if you're interested in that, check that out. That was me just kind of rambling on about my experience with both games. This kind of similar, but I also wanted to include some gameplay, right? Because to be honest, I don't feel like editing, but like this way I can at least like have something going on as well. So it's not just me talking with no music for like 20 minutes. Hopefully let's keep it under that. But I thought about this recently. I don't really remember why this triggered for me. You know what I think it was? I think it was obviously, building up to E3 2021 just in a couple weeks, under a couple of weeks. So that's super hype. It was a lot of people have been wondering or talking about maybe getting a remake for the Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages games in a similar style to Link's Awakening. And that would be great. I mean, to get those games back out into the public eye would be great. Because right now the only ways you can play them are original cartridges, and I think on the 3DS Virtual Console, which is where I got them. So to have a remix of those games would be great. I think they'd have to get Capcom involved because Capcom actually helped develop those games. But that would be cool to see. However, what I think would especially be really cool, and maybe this isn't necessary because, it's a classic game. It's on the NES Online. As you can tell by the title of this video, the original The Legend of Zelda on the NES, if that got a remake like Link's Awakening, and you just made the game way less cryptic, I think that'd be amazing. Because, and this kind of goes to the topic of today's video, I'm not a huge fan of the original Legend of Zelda on NES. When I played through it within the past 5 years for the first time. I didn't grow up with this, or, as you can tell by the title of the video, Metroid on the NES. I did not grow up with these games. I played them for the first time within the last 5 years or so. I can't remember exactly when, but relatively recently. And neither of these games, I'm going to say it outright, neither of these games has aged well at all. But I'm going to try to debate between the two of them. We got Legend of Zelda on NES, and we got the original Metroid at NES, both released in the same year, I believe, in Japan, 1986. I think Metroid was technically 87 in America, but we're going to put these two head-to-head. Boom. I don't have there's no 8-bit Samus Amiibo, so I can't do that. But I got the Zelda one at least. But I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts on this for a little bit. Hopefully, you can keep this relatively short, not too long. I'm aiming for under 20 minutes, but actually, might have been able to hear that. Let me switch over to the other view that I got, not the stream view, but the reaction view. I decided to set this up with some gameplay as well for off the capture card, in case for videos like this. You can see me here talking and also have the gameplay there. But shout out to the random person who subbed to me recently within the last few days. We're up to 78. That's hype. Yeah, I wanted to go through a little bit of each game, both the original Zelda and Metroid, both on the NES, and kind of give my overall thoughts on some of the things that I think really haven't aged well, and also what has, because they're both classic games for a reason. Obviously, the original Zelda is regarded much more highly. But let's get into this. Oh yeah, I'm still there. Nice, let's go. That was my test run I just did earlier. Okay, so right off the bat, right, NES Zelda, of course, iconic music. Both these games have pretty iconic music, but obviously, the main Zelda theme, you can't really compete with that. What I do like about this game for being an exploration-based game, right when you start off, you can see the cave right there. You go over there and explore it, and this is how you get your main weapon, right? The classic, it's dangerous to go alone, take this. I think this is something that this game does really well when they throw you right off the bat into here. However, after this, it just gets worse. Now, here's my thing, right? This is a great game. Like, the overworld for being an NES game, honestly, is fairly detailed. I mean, they repeat a lot of areas, but there's lots of enemy types. It's definitely challenging. And it's definitely, you can tell there's a lot of love and effort put into it. There's a reason why it's regarded as a classic game. However, main thing right off the bat, exploration in this game, as someone who didn't grow up with this game, everything's way too cryptic, right? Link to the Past introduced the system where if you, bang your sword on a wall and, it's a wall you can bomb, it'll produce a certain noise. It also actually showed you where there were cracks in the walls that you could use bombs to blow up with and make a hole in the wall. This game, none of that. So that's definitely an issue. I mean, Zelda's always had the thing where bombs are limited ammo, and it's especially an issue in this game because you don't know where to bomb. So bombs cost rupees, or you can occasionally get them from enemies, right? you can just keep bombing walls over and over again if you don't know how to do this game. If you don't know how to play this game, you'll just keep trying at different walls and bombing different walls, and you'll spend so many rupees, and you'll have to farm for even more rupees. I lost my little sword thing. So yeah, that's a big thing. The other thing, okay, we got health there, that's good. That I wonder if it's going to show in the menu. No, I don't think it is. The candle for burning bushes, right? This is another big problem I have. It's the same thing with the bombs, essentially, but the candle, from what I remember, if I'm wrong on this, somebody correct me in the comments below. The candle is also a limited use from what I remember. And there are a lot of bushes in this game. You know, a lot of which are optional. They'll lead to optional secret staircases, and you can go to optional areas. Some of them, I'm pretty sure at least one of the dungeon entrances is like that. Or it's required for certain items to progress. I remember there's some weird, like, necklace item or something along those lines. It's been a while, and I don't remember this game, because I don't like this game. I'm not gonna lie. I respect it for what it is, and I appreciate that it exists, because we wouldn't have A Link to the Past if it wasn't for this game. A Link to the Past is way better than this game. I don't care what you say, try to argue with me. Link to the Past is way better than the original Zelda, just in every way, and it really pushed Zelda forward in terms of actually, you know, it's still a challenging game, and you still have to do exploration on your own. But it's just way easier to explore in that game, and everything's not nearly as cryptic. It still has its moments for sure, but compared to this game, yeah, no. And I understand, obviously, there were limitations at the time, but I'm talking more in terms of nowadays. Like, how these games hold up now. And to be honest, I don't think this game holds up well at all today. Which is why I think a remake of this would be great. You can even see they kind of attempted. Okay, yeah, you have to buy the candle. Actually, I think that might be a different version of a candle. I don't know which one, but I can also buy a shield. Some caves, you know, are just out in the open and they're easy to find, right? But obviously others, you'd have to randomly bomb a certain hole in the wall, and you'd have no way of knowing where that is. You know, you'd have to either explore countless times and just trial and error over and over again, probably waste a ton of rupees and have to farm all those rupees somehow. Or do what I did when I originally played, and I didn't want to use a guide, but like, I think this game is unplayable without a guide. I'm sorry, but unless you want to waste countless hours, if you really enjoy going around the overworld and farming, I'm pretty sure one of these bushes is you can burn with a candle to get like an optional secret staircase. I don't even know if it's optional. But if you really, I mean, exploring the overworld, I will say, is kind of fun. Ooh, I'm about to die in this game. I'll say it's kind of fun. But when you don't know, there's no reason, there's no, like, way to know what bush do I burn, what wall do I bomb without looking up a guide. That's the thing with this game. It's honestly, even for the time, I think they really could have found a way to make it more, you know, less cryptic, you know what I mean? Like what Link to the Past did. You tap a bomb and it plays a different noise. I think the NES probably could have handled that, right? When you poke a wall with your sword, and if it makes this different noise, then okay, now I know this is a wall I can bomb. Maybe you could do a similar thing with a bush. I have no idea. Or like play a sound effect, and like maybe you play a sound effect in a screen where there is an optional bush. I don't know. I think they could have done something. But the other big thing is obviously the map. They tried to implement a map, you know, in the top left of the screen, but it's only good for knowing generally where your location is in regards to the entire overworld. Can I get healed here, actually? Is the guy gonna heal me? Probably not. He's just like, hi, you're dying. Oh. Oh, okay. Let's go into the fire! No, I can't. But that's pretty much my major complaints with this game. The dungeon maps are fine. When you go into the map, the dungeons themselves are difficult, but they're the best part about this game. The individual dungeons themselves are the best part about this game. Exploring the overworld can be fun, but when you're trying to find something and trying to find a way to progress, it's too cryptic in this game. And I really think if they could remake this game, and if they could make it, you know, less cryptic and be like, okay, maybe somehow give them some kind of clue, even just an actual map like Link to the Past would completely change the game. It would just make it infinitely better. And I guess, you know, they probably couldn't handle that, rendering that map on the NES, so I understand that, but I mean, that's kind of what happens when you run into this kind of game. But obviously the soundtrack's great. It's iconic for a reason. Exploring the overworld is still generally fun. And the dungeons themselves are difficult, but I would say for the most part that they're pretty good. It's just, yeah, the fact that you have limited ammo to explore, and so you have to keep farming for rupees for the bombs and the candle. And then also, obviously, the map is just, I mean, it's really not a map. It's just kind of like it's kind of more like a GPS, like knowing where you are relative to the rest of the world. So those are my two big issues with this game, and because of that, they're major issues, and it makes the game really just tough to play, at least for me. If you have any conflicting feelings about that, let me know in the comments below. But we're already pretty far in, so I want to jump into the other game. And okay, I'm going to say right now, this game is also not aged well. I completely understand. One thing I will say is that the original NES Zelda does a better job of right off the bat telling you where to go, like immediately, right? Like most NES games, wow, I'm already doing terribly. Most NES games at this point, you know, we're just, you know, you'd assume, oh, like Mario, go right? So we're just gonna go right, and then clearly we're gonna know, okay, it's not, we can't really go over there, because, okay, actually, okay, we can go. I was misremembering. However, eventually you're gonna run into a roadblock and realize, oh crap, I'm missing something. And then from there, you know, you'd have to stumble across the fact that, okay, I can actually go left at the start of the game. And I commend them for trying to, like, kind of, like, inject that mindset into players and be like, hey, guess what? You can also go left in this game. You know, here's the morph ball, which you absolutely need for this game. I will commend them for trying. I think they maybe could have executed it a little better. Like, if they had made it maybe a little more apparent right off the bat that you needed the morph ball, like, maybe, like, literally have the first door, like, require the morph ball to actually get to, and then you'd be like, okay, well, where can I explore from here? Oh, I can go left, and there's the morph ball. So I do like that. I will say Zelda does it better in having the cave right at the entrance, so you know to grab the sword there. But besides that, let's also get into other stuff about this game, right? So movement options actually feel pretty good. Samus is a little floaty, especially when doing the screw attack jump, which we don't have the screw attack yet. But once we get it, it's the same thing. However, what I will say is that, right, here's a great example right now, right? Can I, like, okay, I could pause the game without the audio. I don't want the audio right here. The doors, these blue doors, right? This is so much better than in NES Zelda, where, you know, you have to bomb certain walls or burn certain bushes, you not knowing which ones to do. That also depletes your ammo. Here, most of the time, I'll say most, maybe like, I don't know, 70% of the time, you're gonna have these doors that tell you, okay, you can go this way, right? So you have these doors that tell you, okay, you can progress this way. And a lot of the times, at least early on, it's these blue doors, which, you know, you'll find out just, oh, how can I get through here? I can't walk in. What can I do? Can I shoot it? Oh, look, I shoot it and it opens, right? And Samus's regular arm cannon doesn't have ammo. It's unlimited, right? So based on that, you can say, okay, I can progress and actually without having to farm, I don't know, certain things. However, when you get to the missile doors, yes, you do have to farm for missiles a lot of the time with this game. So there still is some farming to do from enemy drops with missile drops and getting those in. Morph ball bombs are also unlimited ammo, which is great. But yeah, obviously the missiles kind of prevent that. However, the game will show you, okay, there is a red door that I can't destroy with my arm cannon. I wonder what that could mean. And by that time, you'll keep exploring around and get the missile upgrades, and you try that out, and then you're good there. It's a different kind of trial and error, where there's less risk involved with actually trying different things. Wow, I'm not doing good. There's way less risk involved because most of your weapons don't have ammo. The only ones that do, I believe, in this game are just the missiles. I don't even think, does this game have super missiles? I don't even remember. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm dead. I am so dead. This game is tough. Both of these games are difficult. I don't need a password. Thank you. We'll just start back from the beginning. What I will give Zelda over this game is that they at least tried to have a map with Zelda, and they did in the dungeons, whereas obviously in this game they don't have any map at all. So I'm pretty sure I also used a guide for this game to, you know, to like a general map to know where I'm going. However, I will say it is easier, at least maybe this is just from my perspective, If you have a different perspective, let me know in the comments. It is easier, at least it was easy for me, to make progress in this game without a guide, because I have these doors telling me where I can go. And yeah, I mean, it can be difficult not knowing relatively where you are. If they had a map similar to what they did in the NES Zelda for the overworld map, it would give you slightly a better idea of where you are. I mean, you still don't get any of the detail on that map, but you would at least know, okay, I've been to, like, I don't know, the top left area. Let me try going a different way because I can't progress there, or something like that. Whereas in this game, you will find yourself running into the same room a lot just because you don't remember where you were before a lot of the time. And so that's definitely an area where a map would help. However, just making general progression is so much easier in this game, because it tells you where to go. In terms of secrets, obviously, you know, like finding like missile expansions or other upgrades, or the energy tank expansions, that requires, you know, a lot of trial and error, exploring different areas. However, that issue is also slightly mitigated because, like I said before, for the most part, except for those missile doors, the ammo is infinite. There's no limited ammo, right? Your arm cannon and your morph ball bombs both have unlimited ammo. So that becomes much less of an issue. Obviously, there's still going to be a lot of trial and error, but you don't, it's not like you have like 50 shots of your arm cannon, then, oh, I got to go find a place where I can farm enemies so I can, you know, get more of my ammo. No, you don't need that except for the missiles. When you have those doors, you have to shoot with, what is it 5 or 3? I think it's 5. You know, I mean, there is a lot of time that I find in this game where I have to farm for health, you know, just because it's a difficult game. Both of these games are difficult, but especially the original Metroid, this game is very difficult. And, you know, if I get hit a lot, it can really, you know, add up. I'm gonna get hit here. No, okay. See if I can beat this guy. That'd be nice. Woo! I did it. Let's go. I've played this game before, I swear. But yeah, I do find myself farming for energy a lot, especially if I'm about to go do a boss fight or an area where I know I'm going to need a lot of health and I have multiple tanks, and just farm them and fill them up. But this game also does give you a lot of areas where you can farm. They have like these like pipe looking things where they spawn those flying enemies, if you know what I'm talking about, and you can farm a lot of ammo that way. That's what I've done before. But like generally, the progression in this game is just, in general, obviously having the map would be nice, but it's so much easier to make progress because you generally have an idea of where to even go. Whereas Zelda, the original NES Zelda, you kind of don't. You just have to keep exploring and hope for the best. And because the ammo here is not nearly as limited, except for the missiles, it's like you're not punished that badly, not nearly as badly as the original Zelda, for exploring, which both of these games are highly explorative. And so when Zelda punishes you severely for trying to explore with the bombs and the candle, which has limited ammo, and you can't, and if you're punished that heavily for it, it sucks. It's a terrible feeling. You're like, oh, I wish I could have done this. So in that case, you really want to use a guide, because it's like, otherwise you're just wasting so much more time. Whereas in this game, I will say, when I played this game, I used a guide way less than I did in NES Zelda. Obviously, it's still difficult to know. It's tough to know sometimes where you are relative to the rest of the kind of the whole area of the game, which I will give the original NES Zelda some credit for trying with its overworld map, but even that didn't really succeed. And this game, you know, this game is just going over some other positives of the game. It's obviously it's a really good soundtrack, not as iconic as Zelda. Obviously, you know, introduce one of the first major like woman playing like actual main roles in video games very early on, which is awesome to see. And you know, obviously the whole Samus is a girl thing was a huge shocker to people, and it was a good one. Like, we need more of that, please. Even today, we need more of that. We're getting there, but we need more. But I don't want to keep this video going on for too long, so there's really not much else for me to say. I think, in my personal opinion, the original Metroid has aged better than the original Zelda, and I know that's a hot take. I know that's a hot take because, oh, the original Zelda's so great, it's a classic, it's what made the franchise what it is. Yes, it established the roots of the franchise, but it has so many flaws, especially in terms of progression, when the main focus of the game is exploration, and you're punishing the player by having limited ammo, and that ammo, the bombs and the candle, a lot of times being the means of progressing, finding optional areas for upgrades or buying weapons, or sometimes it's required, and not even knowing where to go for that. Whereas Metroid, I mean, yeah, you're going to need a farm for missiles and health a lot of the time, which still isn't great design, but at least you're not punishing the player for going to, like, it tells you where to go, and most of what you need to progress, the morph ball bombs and just the arm cannon, unlimited ammo, you know? So it's really, that's the big thing for me, is the fact that Zelda has the limited ammo for like items that you will need a lot to burn bushes and bomb holes and walls, whereas with Metroid they don't limit that. And also neither have a great map. Zelda kind of has more of a map, I guess in the dungeon specifically too. It's a lot better, but Metroid doesn't even have a map, so that's a count against it. But neither game has aged well. Neither has, but I think Metroid has aged slightly better. I just really think it has. But that's just my hot take. I want to know all of your opinions. Feel free to leave them in the comments below. This video's gone on long enough, but I'm glad I had some at least footage to show off for this one, right? So it's not just me rambling on for 20 minutes with nothing going on. But that's it for now. So yeah, feel free, disagree with me, agree with me, whatever you want to do in the comments below. This is just my opinion, and we'll go from there. But in terms of stuff I got upcoming, I was going to stream tonight, but I canceled that stream. I got stuff I got to do, so this is kind of a replacement of that stream. I've got E3 prediction video coming out next week now that we actually got a confirmation from Nintendo. It's going to be Nintendo specific during the presentation, specifically predictions for that. And then I'm going to be live reacting to Nintendo's E3 Direct. Probably not the Treehouse, but just the Direct. I don't know if I'm going to do a live reaction to Microsoft just because I don't. It's like an hour and a half long, I think they said. And I'm not enough of an Xbox fan to really have a good reaction, but I'll watch it live. Besides that, that's all I've got. So thank you all for watching if you made it this way through, for listening to me ramble on for 22 minutes. Hope you learned something. Hope you got some entertainment out of it. And yeah, like I said, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. If you agree, disagree, whatever you want to do. But anyways, thank you all again for watching, and I will catch you on the next video or stream. Take care.